Yeah, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had it.
Hi beautiful, welcome to High Vibe Honey for the week of the 11th of November 2019. We are just creeping closer to the end of the decade. Are you ready for a new decade? I am so pumped. Can you imagine how good it's gonna be? Just close your eyes for a second and think about what the year 2020 is gonna be like for you. What the decade of the 20s is gonna be like. Wow, just wow. I am your host, Gala Darling. I'm really excited to bring this reading to you because it's very positive. It's really beautiful. There's lots of good things going on. And this week, the tapping session at the end is all about deserving good things. That it's okay for us to want what we want and that they're coming to us and that we can rest in that knowledge that everything is going to be beautiful. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and like this video because it makes me happy. And I also hope you appreciate my new wig. There's nothing better than a new wig, you know what I mean? I mean, Ariana Grande obviously knows that, but it's a really good feeling to have a new wig. So I recommend it. And people always ask me, by the way, I get my wigs on Amazon. You just have to read the customer reviews because you never know what you're getting with a wig. So read the reviews, look at the photos, do your due diligence, and then get on that shit. Wigs are the best invention ever. Okay, let's get into these cards. Now, this is a super exciting week, not just because the cards are beautiful, but because we are using a completely different deck of cards. When my friends Kat and Shauna were in town last week, we went to this amazing independent bookstore called Book Soup on Sunset Boulevard, which is like the bookstore of all your fantasies, you know, like it's dark and it's independent and they have weird stuff in there. And it's just a fun ass place to spend some time. And I stumbled across these RuPaul tarot cards and you know I had to snap those up for you. And we've been using the soul cards for a long time and they're really beautiful, but they're a little bit like, maybe they're too chill. Maybe we need some drag queens to literally drag us into this new decade, the whole time of our lives. So that's what we're doing. So I hope you enjoyed these cards. Let me know what you think. I love them. I mean, what's better than drag queens on tarot cards? It's two of my favorite things married, you know? So our first card is the Six of Cups. And we get this card all the time, it seems like, especially at the moment. And it's very appropriate because the Six of Cups is about that inner child kind of feeling. It's about connecting with who you are and who you were and rekindling that sense of childlike wonder and joy and nostalgia. And now the reason that that's so appropriate is because we are in Mercury retrograde, honey, and if your Mercury retrograde has been going swimmingly, I'd love to hear it because mine has been wild as fuck. Twists, turns, pretty much every possible iteration of technological meltdown possible. It has been wild. And I was born with Mercury retrograde in my natal chart. So usually I like sail through that shit and I'm like, this is no big thing. Well, this month is a whole other story and it's really fucking me up. So the thing about Mercury retrograde is not just that technology melts down and people say crazy things to you and your exes come out of the woodwork, which is almost always guaranteed every Mercury retrograde. But Mercury retrograde is a time when we almost feel irresistibly compelled to go back to things from the past. We feel nostalgic. We want to listen to old albums that we used to love or watch our favorite movies or reread old books. And in fact, one of the things I did almost like maybe 2 days into Mercury retrograde was get a tattoo from my favorite children's book. Now, that is some Mercury retrograde shit right there. It's about remembering who you once were. And that's a very powerful thing to do. And I think that it matches Mercury retrograde very well. Now, the last time that we did a Six of Cups reading, which was a few weeks ago, I had someone comment and say that they were really struggling with the idea of connecting with their inner child because it had a very abusive, traumatic childhood, and they really felt like they didn't know who they were as a child, that they hadn't really had a childhood. And the thing that I recommended to this person was to read the book Homecoming. Homecoming. This is a book about connecting with your inner child when you have gone through a traumatic situation or you have had a really difficult childhood. It's an amazing book. And even if your childhood wasn't that difficult, we all have stuff from our childhood to clear up. So as much as this card is about reconnecting with who you were, and rekindling that sense of joy and just feeling optimistic and happy and playful, it may be also, and this is up to you and how you feel about it, it may also be calling you to maybe clear up some of that childhood stuff, maybe inviting you to go to therapy or to talk to someone from your past or to write a letter to someone from your past that you never send. And there's lots of ways that we can deal with things in our lives that were part of a story with somebody else that doesn't have to actually involve that other person. So Neville Goddard has this thing called the conversational technique. And what you do with this is it's not about going to the person who hurt you and talking to them, because the truth is that when people hurt us, they're coming from their own very limited perception. And if they were capable of, really hurting you in the past, they may not be evolved enough or aware enough now to be able to make up for it or to give you any closure. They just may not be capable of that. So what you do in the conversational technique is you have a fake conversation with them. So what you can do is you can grab your phone and you can visualize their name coming up on your caller ID, and you can pretend to swipe across with your thumb and then just talk to them. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them how their behavior affected you. Tell them how it has changed your life for either the worse or the better. And you can tell them about how it made you feel and what you wish had gone differently and what you want to happen in the future. So this is a really powerful way of kind of getting right with your own psyche about things that have happened to us. And so if this is feeling resonant for you, if this sounds like something that you think would be helpful, then I think this card is really inviting you to do that, to take that step. And I think you'll find yourself feeling really good about that, feeling closure, feeling some form of completion around it. Mercury retrograde really is about going back and revisiting things and really asking ourselves, what was that about, and learning the lessons. So this is a really good time to do that. Our second card for the week is the Six of Wands, and this is such a good card to come up because it's about recognition and success and making lots of progress. And interestingly, it can also be about building your personal brand in a way that feels really good and in a way that you're kind of being recognized for who you are and what it is that you do. So what this card tells me is that your confidence has been slowly building, maybe over the course of the year, and you're now feeling really rock solid in what it is that you do. And maybe now you understand what your X factor is, what it is that makes you different, where your strengths are, and what makes you really different in the things that you do. So this card tells us that you've come a really long way, that you've put in the work, that you've been consistent, and everything is growing and blossoming and flourishing in an amazing way. And what it tells us is you've done such good work and don't give up now. Now, the flip side of this card is that sometimes when it shows up, it might mean that you're being a little bit egotistical, you could be a little arrogant, you could be feeling a little big-headed about things. But I want you to remember your humble beginnings, right? The fact that you started somewhere just like everybody, and it's really valuable for us to always have that mindset of being a beginner. You don't want to walk around assuming that you know everything. It's very important to stay open to other people's opinions and the things that your customers want, and to be able to be flexible and pivot and move with what the market is asking of you. So don't get into a place where you're all calcified around what you think you should be doing. Because the truth is that even if your personal brand is rocking and you're having a great time in your business or with your creativity or wherever you put your energy, the truth is that everything is always changing. So just remember to be flexible. Don't be too sure that you always know the right answer. Be humble, but appreciate the success that you're having. Appreciate the fruits of your labor and just enjoy them because they are delicious. Our third card of the week is the World, which is one of the best cards ever to come up. It's so great. And I love that it is in this deck, it is denoted by Sasha Velour. Now, if you are a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, you may recall that in the finale where they were going to choose who the winner was, Sasha Velour took off a wig and there were hundreds of rose petals under her wig and they all fell to the ground, and it was this amazing, beautiful moment, unlike anything we had ever seen on Drag Race. She changed the game in that moment. Now, the World card is all about completion and success and fucking killing it. And that feeling of satisfaction when you just know that you did the right thing, that you put your effort into it, and it has paid off for you. So the fact that this is coming up is such a good sign. And what a beautiful way to kind of move towards the end of the year, where you can look back on everything you've done this year. Like, think about January and February. What were you doing back then? Oh my God. We're all completely different people by now. We have experienced so much. We have grown so much. We have changed so much. We have healed so much. And the proof is always in the pudding, right? You can look at what the work is that you've been doing and the healing that you've been doing and the mindset that you've been cultivating by simply looking at your life. What is happening in your life? Have you been making good choices? And it will always be a true reflection of where you're at. So I love that this card has come up. It's so deeply satisfying. And the other thing that the World card says is that there is like a love match somewhere in the waiting in the wings, or like maybe it's right in front of you. Maybe it's literally the person sitting next to you right now. With the World, it's always about putting in the work. So this means, especially when it comes to love, if you're a single person, that you have been putting in the work in your love life, that someone amazing is on the scene, and that it feels very satisfying, very joyful, very fun. And I think especially with the Six of Cups coming up, it's telling us like everything here runs together. I think this person that you are spending time with makes you feel like the childlike version of yourself. You get to be silly, you get to have fun, you get to laugh. It's not so serious, and that feels really, really good. Now, I think the overarching message from these three cards is that when you love yourself like you would love a child, you cannot help but succeed. And that's really the message that I see coming through this week. It's really, like, we've been talking about inner child stuff for a couple of months, I think. And it really is so important to get in touch with that piece of yourself. So like I said in the first card, if you are feeling called to have some conversations that clear things up, even if they're just with yourself, then I really recommend that you do that, because it's just gonna like sweep the decks. And so everything feels clean and awesome, and you're gonna feel really good when you do that. So now we're going to do our tapping on the fact that you deserve everything that you want. This is a really powerful manifestation tapping that you can do whenever you like. So be sure to bookmark this one, even save it to a tapping playlist on YouTube if you're really tech savvy. It's very easy to do. Don't have to be that tech savvy to do it, but I recommend saving it. And make sure that you are well hydrated, drink some water, and we will get started on the top of the head. I am a powerful manifester. And I know that I can have whatever I want. But sometimes I feel tripped up because those things I want aren't showing up. Why the fuck are they not showing up? What am I doing wrong here? Maybe it's because I don't feel good about the things that I desire. Maybe it's because I feel shame about the things that I want. Maybe it's because I'm really, really good at talking myself out of it, at intellectualizing, at justifying, and at people pleasing. Because some of those things that I want are really big. They're really exciting. And they might be bigger than anything anyone I know has. Maybe if I was to get those things, the people I care about would feel bad about themselves. Maybe if I got those things, I would feel ostracized. Maybe it's better to be loved and play small than to really want what I want and be alone. But even thinking this way is some old paradigm shit, because we are entering a powerful new time where we can have everything we want and still be good people. Where we can have everything that we want and still be loved. Where we can have everything that we want and still be of massive service. So today I am choosing to let go of any remaining beliefs I might have that I have to play small in order to be loved, that I have to dampen my desires in order to be accepted, and that I have to people please even in my daydreams, even in my fantasies. Today, I am choosing to let this go because it truly doesn't serve me. And as long as I want something with one hand and don't want it with the other, that thing that I want will always be in limbo. It will be held at a distance from me, which is a recipe for resentment and sadness and frustration with myself. So today I am cleaning up all of the residue around those things that I want. It doesn't matter how weird, quote unquote, they are. It doesn't matter if no one else gets it. It doesn't matter if it's different than what other people want. It is totally okay for me to want what I want. And today I am bringing myself into alignment with everything that I desire. When I think about the things that I truly want, I feel really warm and really good. And I feel the power surging in my body. An unmistakable type of power that tells me that what I want is guaranteed. That there is nothing I could possibly want that is too big for me, or that is too weird or out there. In fact, today, maybe I will even start to relish the idea that I can be as weird as I want. Maybe I will start to delight in my weirdness. Maybe I will expand my daydreams so that they are even more fantastical than they used to be. Maybe that will make me feel even better about what I want. Maybe the problem is that I've been too mediocre about what I want. Fuck that shit. Let's get fucking weird. I know that I deserve all of the things that I want. And I love myself no matter what my desires are. I accept every single one of them. And I forgive myself too. Okay, deep breath in, hold it at the top, let it go. That was my like orchestral yawn conducting, you know. So I hope that that feels really good to you. As I was saying that, I was starting to see my own fantasies get bigger and weirder, and they were like mutating in front of my eyes, and it felt so good. I don't know if you could see the smile that came across my face, but I was like, fuck yes, let's get weird. And if you find that hard to do, what I want you to do is think about who it is that really inspires you, whether it's people from the past or people that are living. What are they doing, or what did they do with their lives that really excited you? For example, here's an example from my own life. Gala Dali is my namesake. That's where my first name came from. And she was married to Salvador Dali, obviously, and also Paul Eluard. But Salvador Dali bought her a castle. Pretty amazing. However, he wasn't allowed into the castle unless she had given him a written invitation. That is what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, yeah, not just like you bought me a castle, but also like you don't get to come in unless I say so. That is so hot. I can't even begin to stand it. My like Aquarius rising, Sagittarius moon is like, yes, worship me, but from a distance. Please. So hot. Like, oh, what is better? So anyway, I want you to think about the people that you respect or admire or look up to and be like, what is the stuff that they did that was amazing? And how could I do something like that? Or could I do something even better than that? Where can I like, you know, fuck with my imagination and make it really juicy? So your homework this week is to get really vulnerable and to tell us in the comments below what is one desire that you have been secretly ashamed of. And then I want you to flip it and tell us how you've expanded this daydream. What is the even sexier, more bombastic, brilliant version of that? We are dying to hear it. I hope it's as great as like a castle that someone needs an invitation to enter, because like that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Yes. So I love you very much. Please be sure to subscribe and like the video. Again, share it with your best friends if they also need some like good, juicy, manifesting shit in their lives. And I will see you back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.